Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for this practice of half vinyasa flow and half yin and restorative, you'll want to have two blocks, a strap, a bolster, and a blanket. Today we're going to be focusing physically on opening up the shoulders by bringing them into flexion. Last week we focused on shoulders and extension. And we had a request for some specific pranayama, especially for calming the mind of anxiety. So we'll start with a particular one, we'll move in through the practice with another, and we'll transition to the yin practice with another kind. So please find a comfortable seat that works for you, a way in which you can arrive feeling grounded or more grounded, where your spine can be tall, without the body feeling rigid. Giving yourself a moment to settle into your practice. In the past couple of classes, we've been breaking down the very first practice of yoga. Within the 8 limbs of yoga, the first limb, called the yamas, has 5 practices. And the very first one is often thought of as the most important. And that practice is called Ahimsa. And it means do no harm. Do no harm. So I want to share a little bit more from the book, The Inspired Teacher by Gabrielle Harris, where she explains other ways to practice ahimsa, not only in the physical yoga, but in our daily lives. Ahimsa shows up under different names in many traditions. The first principle of Buddhist philosophy is to see the inner nobility and beauty of all human beings. Yesterday we had a forest bathing hike in which we practiced metta meditation, and it's a practice of sending loving kindness to different beings, including ourselves and including people who may have challenged us. And it's based on the remembrance that underneath everything, our inherent core being is innate goodness, that in each living being, that is who we really are. For Gandhi, ahimsa was his peaceful weapon that he used to overcome conflict, racism, and greed in his fight for justice. Jainism centers its faith around the principle of kindness, with the belief that to hurt any living thing is to hurt themselves. Jains lovingly sweep the streets before they walk in the hope not to harm a single bug with their feet. The first principle of medical practitioners and the first most important yama from Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is ahimsa, do no harm. Albert Einstein tells us one of the most important choices we will ever have to make is whether to believe that the world is a friendly place or not. If we think it is, then we will see more love around us. Give and forgive, be kind and support others. If we think the world is unkind, our energy will be put into building walls and creating separation to protect ourselves from being hurt or harmed. The 3 gates. Sufism tells us that written, spoken, or internal words must pass through 3 gates if we are to become liberated from our fear, our judging, and our harsh inner voice. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, is it kind? Number 3, is it necessary? What a helpful rubric to remember before we even say anything, both to ourselves internally or out loud to someone else. Is what I'm going to say true? Is it going to be kind? And is it necessary? And so with that, we can even apply that same rubric to our actions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? All in the practice of doing no harm. And so how does that show up in your physical yoga today? Because what we practice here and Everywhere, what you practice the most, you strengthen, whether you're practicing it on purpose, consciously, or unconsciously. So the first part is to be aware, right? Where are we coming from? What is the energy in which I am placing my body in these movements and poses and these breathing techniques? Is it coming from love? Is it coming from the lens of doing no harm? And what we're doing within ourselves, we will inevitably show up in that way to the outside world. So let's cultivate that practice of kindness within and bring that from within outward. Let's start to check in with what we have present in our bodies. Maybe closing the eyes as you start to scan your physical body, noticing any sensations that you're feeling, and letting go of judging what you're noticing. Simply just become aware of what's here now. Sense the quality of your breath without controlling the breath. How is it informing you of the way you feel energetically as you're beginning your practice? And so with compassion and honesty, meeting yourself right where you are. Tune into your heart and your mind. What's present there right now? How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? Acknowledging, giving loving awareness to what's happening within you. Let's deepen the breath, filling up through the nose, into the belly, into the lungs. Opening the lips and emptying the breath slowly. Inhaling a little bit deeper. And exhaling slower. As you continue to deepen your breath, what is something right now that you can offer gratitude for? Awakening the energy of your heart in this practice. And from that place, set your intention. What are you cultivating through this practice? And then invite you to offer up this practice to something beyond yourself as a way of remembering our interconnectedness and remembering that this practice of yoga is not just for us. It's for how we show up in the world. And to whom or what would you like to dedicate this practice? And let's join our voices, chanting Om, the sacred sound, and honoring the silence after each of 3 rounds. Inhale a little fuller. So I invite you to start with bellows breath or Bhastrika pranayama. As you're sitting tall and continuing to breathe deeply, close the lips. And this breathing technique helps to cleanse the lungs, bring clarity to the mind, and ease the mind if it's feeling restless as well. And we'll warm up the shoulders through it for a physical practice. So as you bend your elbows apart like this, relax the shoulders down, lift up through the crown, and make your hands like fists. As you breathe in deeply through the nose, filling up your belly and lungs all at once, raise the arms straight up and spread the fingers. And as you breathe out deeply through the nose, bend the elbows and refist the hands, sort of like this. Finding a sort of brisk pace that you can sustain for 1 minute. I'm going to time us. So breathing in fully, exhaling completely, equal depth of inhale and exhale with the mouth closed. And you might close your eyes to help you concentrate. Okay, let's get ready for 1 minute. Ready? Begin. And relax. Just breathe naturally for a moment. Notice how you feel. Now let's continue to relax the nervous system and now invite balance to our energy, practicing Ujjayi pranayama, which will move our bodies to. And it's creating a whispering sound to the breath while you close the lips and inhale very slowly through the nose and exhale just as slowly through the nose, while softly narrowing or gently constricting the back of the throat. Let's listen to a few cycles. I'll count to 6 as we breathe in and 6 as we breathe out. No holding the breath here. So prepare to start by emptying this breath. Inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep going, finding an even length of in-breath with out-breath, a steady, calm, whispering sound that's very gentle. Make sure it doesn't sound forceful. And as you keep that going, grab your strap. And as you're sitting tall, you might sit in hero's pose just to get a little bit more height in the spine. You could sit on a block between the ankles if that's more comfortable. And let's warm up the shoulders. Hold the strap taut between your hands, wider than shoulders distance apart. Keep the shoulders relaxing down as you sit tall. And with the arms straight, inhale, raise the arms overhead, and exhale, stretch the arms all the way behind you and down. Inhale the arms up, exhale them forward and down. Let's keep going about 8 more cycles of breath. Now you can adjust the space between your hands if it's too challenging to bring the arms all the way back. You can separate the hands even wider apart, but make sure your strap is taut. It's not a loose hold. As you get warmer in your shoulders, you might walk the hands even closer together. Let's listen to a few more cycles of breath. And then from here, make your way into downward facing dog. Set your hands at the top of the mat, spread the fingers flat, And lift your hips high. Begin to move your body any way it needs to loosen up. You might pedal your feet to stretch the backs of your legs. You might shake and nod your head to relax the neck. Oh, Bodhi. And as you drop your head freely, roll your outer upper arms or triceps towards the floor and lift the shoulder blades away from your neck onto your back ribs. Bend your knees and lift your hips as high as you can towards your back wall, really stretching the back of your spine like you have a flat back. Keep breathing deeply here. Press your chest towards your shins and engage your belly towards your spine. Now firm the front tops of your thigh bones back and begin to sink your heels deeper and deeper towards the ground. Even if they don't touch it, you might keep the knees bent. Now set your eyes on one focal point and tune into another 3 deep breaths as we warm up the shoulders, staying a little longer in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look past your fingertips and empty your breath. Then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat into a standing forward fold. Separate the feet at least hips width apart. Press your fingertips either on blocks, your shins, or the ground. And inhale to stretch your spine forward into half forward fold. Glide the shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Firm down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and slowly rise all the way up. Roll the shoulders behind you and down. Look up. Exhale, trace your palms in prayer down to your heart center in mountain pose. Pause. Remember the feeling tone of the intention that you're setting, bringing that into your movement as you move to your breath. Let's practice sun salutation C, offering gratitude to the sun. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and gently coil your chest up. As you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Place your fingertips on the floor or on blocks. And inhale, step the left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge and gaze up. Hold your breath and step to plank. As you exhale, first, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin. Inhale, slide forward and draw your shoulder heads back in cobra pose. As you exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Press to your feet. Inhale, rise. Roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale, join your palms at heart center. One more time, side 2. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips in Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips down. This time, step the right knee back as you breathe in to a kneeling lunge. Gaze up. Hold your breath as you step to plank pose. Ashtangasana, exhale, lower knees, then chest, then chin. Inhale to Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot beside your right thumb. Lower your left knee, gaze up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Press to your feet, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart center. Sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead and coil your chest open. Exhale, bow from your hips. This time, press your hands on your shins, blocks, or the floor, and inhale to half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to your version of plank, and this time, as you firm in the belly, exhale, shift forward. Lower halfway down as you hug the elbows to your ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower to Cobra or flip the toes here in upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let your body be still as you tune into 2 deep breaths. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee and rotate the thigh externally. Turn it out at the hip. Staying there, inhale, draw your left hip back. Then exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose, hollow the belly, and step the foot right between the hands. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, windmill the arms to warrior two. Pause here right away. 5 deep breaths, steadying the gaze past the right fingertips. Letting the shoulders soften down. Relaxing the eyes. How are you bringing ahimsa in your approach to your body in your physical yoga? One more deep breath. As you exhale, windmill the hands and step right to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the knee and turn out the thigh at the hip. Inhale, draw the right hip back. Exhale, round forward, bend left knee towards your nose and lightly step the foot right between your hands. Spin the right heel down, align heel to arch, and inhale, windmill the arms into warrior two. Feel the movement of the breath as you invite stillness in your physical body. Steadying your gaze, relaxing the eyes. One more deep breath here. As you exhale, windmill your hands to the floor and step forward, top of the mat. Bring your feet together to touch. Grab your strap as you're bowing down. Then bend your knees together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Separate your feet hips distance apart here. Then step your left foot back 2/3 as far as you would in a high lunge. So we're coming into pyramid pose, bringing the shoulders into extension, flexion on each side. So make sure your feet are about hips width apart so your hips can evenly face forward. Both feet are entirely on the ground, legs are straight. And hold your strap in your left hand. Raise your left arm and dangle the strap behind you. With the help of your right hand, spin your left outer upper arm forward and bring the left elbow behind your head, pressing your shoulders down. Lift your chin slightly away from your chest. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs and firm down to your feet, engaging the muscles in your legs and belly. Reach the right hand behind you underneath, catch the bottom end of the strap. Then walk your hands as close together as you can. Now, some of you might drop the strap if you're able to clasp your hands. Take a deep breath and draw your shoulders back. Gaze up. Keep firming in the belly and exhale, begin to bow forward from your hips. Pause as you breathe in, firm down to your feet. Slightly draw the right hip back and lengthen the spine forward. And if it's available, continue to fold breath by breath, just to the degree in which you can keep your throat open, shoulders relaxed away from the neck. In pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Last deep breath here. Root down to your feet. Lead with your chest and keep firming in the belly. Inhale, slowly rise all the way up. Step your left foot forward, feet hips width apart, whoop, at the top of the mat. And then step your right foot back 2/3 as far as you would in warrior one. Both hips facing forward, legs straight. Hold the strap in your right hand and raise your right arm. Dangle the strap behind you. With the help of your left hand, rotate your right outer upper arm forward and bring the elbow behind your head, pressing both shoulders down. Lift the chin away from the chest, seal in the bottom front ribs, and root down to your feet. Reach the left hand underneath, catch the bottom end of the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe you clasp the hands. Now, as you breathe in, roll the shoulders back and look up. As you breathe out, keep firming in the belly and hinge forward, just little by little each breath. Slightly drawing the left hip back and continuing to reach your chest forward with each inhalation. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. One more deep breath. We're going to exit differently this time, so set your hands to the floor and step back to your hands and knees, all fours. Spin your fingertips to turn out towards the left and right edges of your mat, or as far back as pointing at your knees, whatever is comfortable to stretch the inner side of your wrists and forearms. Let's take 5 rounds of cat-cow, moving slowly to the breath. So as you breathe in, glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders behind you, gazing up. As you breathe out, contract your abdomen, drop your head, rounding the back. Again, inhale, roll the shoulders back, coil your chest up. Exhale, lift the belly in and dome your back. Keep going. Taking your time, moving with love, moving with the energy of your intention for this practice. Relax to a neutral spine and turn the index fingers to face forward. And then please find a comfortable seat to begin another pranayama practice to help us transition to the yin part of our flow and restore yoga. You may like to prop your pelvis up on a block or two or a pillow so that you can sit up a little taller if that helps you to breathe more easily. I'll invite you into another energy balancing breathing technique that also helps to tune your focus more deeply inward and to bring calmness to the nervous system. And it's also a breathing technique that helps to promote our intuitive energy center. It's called alternate nostril breathing, or Nodi Shodhana Pranayama. So resting your left hand on your lap, you might bring the thumb and first finger to touch to help bring a sense of connectedness to oneself, and either rest the palm face up to bring more attention to your intuitive energy center, or palm face down to feel more grounded. So notice what you're needing today. And then the right hand is placed in Vishnu Mudra, in which you stick out the thumb, the pinky, and the ring fingers. As you close your lips and breathe very softly and slowly, no longer creating that whispering sound, we'll close the right nostril with the right thumb like this. We'll close the left nostril with the right ring and pinky fingers like this. So alternate nostril breathing. Let's practice 3 cycles of this technique together and then continue for 3 cycles on your own. I'll invite you to breathe in or to breathe out for 6 counts and to hold the breath in or out for 2 counts. When you hold the breath, try to relax the body and mind. All right, you might close your eyes, you might steady your gaze towards Ajna chakra, your intuitive energy center, towards the middle of the brain. And let's prepare to begin by inhaling fully through the nose and clearing it out through the mouth. Close the mouth, close the right nostril with the right thumb. Inhale left through 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, 2, 1. Close the left, exhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath, 2, 1. Inhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right, exhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Second cycle, inhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1, close left, exhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 2, 1, inhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 2, 1, close right, exhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 2, 1. Third cycle. Inhale left for 6, hold 2, close left, exhale right, 6, hold 2, inhale right, 6, hold 2, close right, exhale left, 6, hold 2. Now continue 3 more cycles on your own. Now take your time when you are finished to just breathe naturally and sit for a few moments, observing how you feel, observing without judging. As you continue to observe your inner state, your mind, your breathing, your physical sensations, you might come back to Ujjayi breathing, that slow whispering sound of lengthening the in-breath and the out-breath evenly with the lips closed, as it can help to maintain that mental focusing. Let's come on down to hands and knees again, all fours, and this time take your 2 blocks and place the 2 blocks at the front of your mat so they're touching each other on their medium height. Now, if your blocks are really skinny and they tend to tip over, you can go at the lowest height like this instead. And then step your knees about a foot behind the blocks and straighten the arms forward, palms face down. Spin your outer upper arms towards the ground and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Then bend your elbows. Place your bent elbows on the blocks, shoulders distance apart. Press your fingertips into each other and connect to your breath. Feel your body here. Step your knees back until they're about 2 inches behind your hips. Then trace your thumbs down the back of your skull. maybe down the back of your neck, as far back as your thumbs will go as you lower your head to whatever degree it can lower. And continue to roll the triceps down, keep the elbows, shoulders width apart, and draw the shoulder blades further back. Now, engage your belly slightly. Try not to dump into the lower back here. Draw the hips back. We're here for 5 or more deep breaths, bringing the shoulders both into flexion. On your next exhalation, engage the belly a little more so that you can lift up and off of your blocks. Now, place the blocks on their lowest height, like a number 11, a little wider apart than your shoulders distance. As you bring the inner edges of your feet together, you can decide knees together or apart. We're going to come into extended child's pose, resting the forearms on the blocks so that your wrists can relax, and just dropping the palms down and resting the forehead either on the ground or on a folded blanket. Let your hips be heavy. Sink your pelvis all the way back and down towards your heels. As you stretch the arms forward and rest the forearms on the blocks, relax the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Invite space in your neck. Now, if it feels soothing and you're resting your forehead down on the floor, you might gently shake your head no, just massaging the center of your forehead on the earth. Allowing your whole body to feel like it's sinking towards the earth here. Inviting a feeling of grounding. Feeling the weight of your arms on the block. Feeling the weight of your shoulder bones sink back and down. Feeling the weight of your shins on the mat. The weight of your torso on your thighs. The weight of your glutes on your heels. When the mind is feeling restless, jumping from one thought to another, physically we can help the mind by grounding our bodies in a position such as this and focusing on the weight of the body sinking down towards the center of the earth, the weight of other body parts on top of other body parts. Couple more deep breaths here in Balasana. Let your head feel heavy, skull heavy as you crawl the fingertips closer to your outer knees. And so letting the chin fall to the chest as you start to breathe in, roll your spine gently upright, lifting your head last. Just sitting up tall, let's circle the shoulders, inhale them forward and up. Exhale them back and down. A few more times. Let the breath lead this vinyasa flow of the shoulders. And notice your attention to detail as you slow the movement down. Might go in the opposite direction a few more times. Spin the elbows apart. Cross the left elbow over the right. Whether you hook your thumbs or are able to wrap your forearms and palms, slide your shoulder heads down and lift up through the back of your skull, all the way through your lower spine. Mentally scan your body here and notice if there's any part that feels a bit more strong in sensation. Imagine a few deep breaths circulating through that region, bringing a renewed spaciousness with the inhalations. Relaxing the area with the exhalations. Now, if it's available, as you keep the arms like this, you might continue to draw the shoulders down and pinpoint the area right under your shoulder blades to begin tilting the chest up into a gentle back bend, while at the same time firming in the lower belly and directing the tailbone downward so as not to overarch your lower back. Notice that the sensations might shift as you may be adding a back bend to it. Where else could you give your body some loving attention by imagining breath in that space? Next inhale, lift the elbows a little bit higher. And exhale back, stroke your arms apart. Let's circle the head gently, tilt your chin down to your chest. Inhale, roll one ear to one shoulder. Start to look up. Exhale the other ear to the other shoulder. Dropping the chin. Take another roll in this direction. Go as slowly as your body is asking you to. And when you're ready, twice in the opposite direction. Now let's bend the elbows apart and cross the right elbow on top. Oh, opposite elbow on top. Make sure it's your second side. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders. With deep breaths, scan your body. Notice what sensations are calling you and where. Sometimes we might habitually tense areas of our bodies that we're not even aware of because they're so habitual. So take a check of your jaw, your backs of your ears. Is there any clenching there that you could breathe into and relax? Notice the muscles of your tongue. You might gently touch the roof of your mouth with a tongue tip and soften the tongue at the base of the tongue. And sense the muscles behind your eyes and surrounding your eyes, even on your forehead. Where else might you continue to scan your body for habitual tensing and bringing a caring kindness of breath there? You might start to add a back bend by locating the area beneath the shoulder blades and tilting your chest upwards from there. And as you start to look up, invite space throughout the neck, even the back of the neck. Draw the tailbone down and slightly firm in the belly to support the lower back. A few more deep breaths here. Lift the elbows if you can a little bit higher as you breathe in. Exhale back, stroke the arms. And just let it go. All right, we're gonna add a twist now. So please come back down to tabletop pose, hands and knees, have blocks nearby, and step your knees a couple inches behind the hips as you stack your shoulders above your wrists. As you breathe in, raise the right arm towards the sky. And as you breathe out, thread it underneath your left bent elbow. Rest the right side of your head all the way down. Now, if your head does not comfortably rest on the ground, use your props like your pillow or any of your props to rest your head on. Try to balance the height of your two hips here so you're not twisting at your pelvis, destabilizing the lower back. And let the shoulders relax away from the ears. You might send deeper breaths into the backs of your lungs, across the tops of your shoulders. One more deep breath here. And with an inhale, slowly rise up and back to all fours. Let's switch sides. Inhale, raise your left arm towards the sky. Exhale, thread it beneath your right bent elbow and lower the left side of your head all the way down. Feel free to use a prop for your head if needed. Square the hips, keep them leveled on both sides, and allow the twist to happen mostly right beneath your lowest ribs, which is your waistline. Slide both shoulder blades down your back ribs, and maybe picture breathing into your back ribs. One more full breath here. And then start to come up, slide your legs out in front of you. We're going to set up in supported fish pose and continue to bring the shoulders into extension one more time. So this will also be a position that you might opt to stay in for Shavasana, which will come right after. Before we get into that, let's take one more forward fold for a few breaths. So stretch the legs forward, flex your feet, hips width apart. Decide if you want to use a strap around the balls of your feet or raise your arms, and then eventually walk your hands down the backs of your legs. Root your sitting bones, lengthen your spine and relax the shoulders down. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs, and then start to hinge forward from the hips, breath by breath. Keeping the shoulders back and your chest slightly lifted so your neck is spacious. Paschimottanasana. Press down to the pelvis and inhale, lead with your chest to slowly rise. All right, now let's set up for supported fish. If your shoulders feel pretty open in the front, you could set up your two blocks both on their medium height, the second level crossing the width of your mat like an equal sign. If your front of your shoulders feel a little resistant, you can tilt the block that's furthest away from you to the tallest height. And as you keep your pelvis on the ground, you might either stretch the legs out, especially if you'll stay here for Shavasana, and put a pillow or a rolled up blanket under the backs of your knees for some lower back support, feet wider than hips width apart. Or if you want to open the hips, you can bend the knees apart and bring the soles of your feet together to touch. So you're in Supta Baddha Konasana in the legs, supine bound angle pose. You could also roll up a blanket and place it across your inner ankles and tuck the ends of the blanket under your outer thighs if your knees are uncomfortably lifting up away from the floor. Place something under your outer knees to support your hips. And as you keep your pelvis on the ground, start to lean back until the area that's right beneath your shoulder blades meets the first edge of the closest block. Then let the shoulder bones sink down into the space between the blocks. Back of your neck is free, and then the back of your skull is resting on the furthest block. Adjust the blocks so that your body feels symmetrical as possible, and the shoulders especially. And your chest is open, shoulders are relaxed, neck feels relaxed as well. Head is fully supported, and your legs feel generally symmetrical too. Now, let's raise the arms and let the palms face each other. Roll your triceps towards the front of your room, and then bend your elbows and hold opposite elbows, dropping the arms back behind the ears or as far back as your arms will fall, and let the shoulders soften down your back ribs. If your front ribs are starting to protrude up towards the sky, like mine tend to do here, seal the bottom of your front ribs down towards your pubic bone, which means slightly activating your upper abdomen so you're not impinging on the lower back. Keep the throat open so the chin is slightly tilted back. Just here for a few breaths, and then we'll switch the cross of the arms. So notice which elbow is on top of the other here. And let your in-breath help spread your collarbones wide apart from your sternum to your shoulder heads. And let your out-breath invite your shoulder bones to sink further away from the ears. Now, as you start to lift the elbows where you can see them in front of you, look and see which arm needs to switch on top. And let's bring the arms overhead again. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and keep breathing consciously. Fill up your chest, your side ribs, your back ribs. Fill up your belly, your back, all of your torso. And then feel the breath release completely, allowing your belly to soften. One more deep breath here. And then release the arms. And if you are going to remove the blocks, transition very gently. Try not to move in a rush or quickly. Start to place your body in the position in which you'd like to lie down and rest in stillness in for a few minutes of corpse pose, Shavasana. I'm going to be playing just a couple of our singing bowls today. Now letting your body rest here a little longer. I invite you to keep your eyes closed. Notice how your body feels as you're nearing the end of your physical yoga. Practicing ahimsa, doing no harm, kindness. Be gentle with yourself as you start to slowly move your body out of stillness. Begin with something small like wiggling your fingers or gently turning your head, honoring the efforts you put into the practice of creating calmness in your body. Take your time to slowly turn over onto your right side and rest your head. Pausing there for a few moments to bring loving awareness to your breath, sensing your energy and how it is affected by your practice. When you feel ready, take your time pressing your hands into the ground. Let your head be heavy as you start to lift your torso. And eventually you find a comfortable seat for 5 minutes of sitting in meditation. Sitting so that your spine feels tall, your shoulders are relaxed, your heart space, and your whole torso feel open, while your lower body feels grounded and stable. You may like to rest the right palm on top of the left, the right palm symbolizing wisdom, and the left palm compassion, holding that wisdom as your thumb tips touch. This is from the Tibetan Buddhist meditation tradition, and you might close your eyes. Let's begin by practicing calm abiding, by resting your awareness very gently on the feeling of the flow of the breath, just allowing the breath to flow naturally. Feeling the weight of your body sinking into the seat. As the spine rises, relaxing into stillness. Facial muscles at ease, jaw unclenched, eyes relaxed. If your attention goes astray from the breath, that's okay. It's not a problem. Just gently bring your attention back, feeling the breath coming in and coming out. Again, if your mind drifts, that moment of being aware that this has happened is your moment of awakening. Honor that by just easing back in, resting your awareness again on the feeling of the breath. Notice what you're feeling now in your heart and mind. Sense the effects of how you practiced yoga today. Now, as we've practiced being aware of doing no harm within ourselves, whether it's through our words, our inner talk, or physical practice, how might we bring that practice of doing no harm more consciously outward in our interactions? As we bring this practice to a close, I invite you to a moment of gratitude. Maybe joining the hands at your heart center and acknowledging anything with appreciation. Remind yourself of your intention for today's practice. Remind yourself to whom or what you offered up this practice. Ending with a Sanskrit chant, Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may My thoughts, actions, and words contribute to that happiness and freedom. Let's close together, chanting Om 3 times. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.